Okay. Again, it says I'm live. Maybe I'm live, maybe I'm not. I'll get that intro video and that way I'll know. Anyway, okay. Totally caught off guard. Kind of. Wasn't prepared. I mean, I'm prepared, but I'm running late. So that's all. How's everyone doing? It's Wednesday, hump day, July 30th, episode 60, day, I gotta look at yesterday, day 209. Now, this will be the last time that my numbering system's easy, because I just happened to start on a random day where it corresponded with episode 1 was day 1, episode 2. And because it was a 30-day month last month, it ended easily. So today's the 30th, 60th episode. Well, tomorrow's the 31st. So it'll be the 61st episode. But then the second, it will be the 63rd, but the first. So I'm going to be all thrown off. So if I screw up my numbering system, you'll know why. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you why. So I finally got in touch with somebody. There. It is the final episode tomorrow. Yes, 8 p.m., the final chapter, the Chicago episode, my magnum opus. So watch it. Heinz Verified, Day Trippin', me and Stephen He. I said basically, oh yes, and of course, right, we'll have more, right? They was like, we'll do shorts. Well, probably not going to be in the shorts. We'll see. The little things that they'll keep pushing. They need more me. I said, season 2, spin-off? I said, because, we all really want it. We just want more me, right? I mean, that's what it is, right? We need more me. I'm going to keep pushing it. So I'm going to keep that going. I'm just going to keep pushing this. Episodes are up. Go look at it. Watch it. Subscribe to it. Get another episode. Make comments about me. Oh, shit. Okay, the camera fell, the monitor almost fell. I guess I need to chill out. Woo! Okay. All right, so let's see. Aloha! Got marked this episode as having profanity. Yes, it does. That definitely had profanity. Wow, I wasn't ready for that one. Okay, so new segment tonight. The technology that we know about, we don't know about, that's going to kill us. I don't know, but this thing, okay? You have one of these? This thing right there. You have one of those on your house? This is part of the new water meter system that the city of Columbus is installing, okay? So the property I'm working on, that I'm getting done with, they installed a new meter today, the smart meter. And I talked to the tech guy, since I had to get up at 7:30 in the morning and wait for him. Of course, he didn't show up until just before his expiration of 11 o'clock. But remember I said I wasn't going to wait? I actually left a note and said, hey, installation water meter person, I had to run to an emergency. There was no emergency. Please, if you get here, wait. And here's my phone number. So I went and did what I had to do. I came back. He still wasn't there. It was like 10:30. And I saw his truck drive by. He went to the back door, so he almost left. He left a little note saying, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't find you. No one was here. I'm like, I've been here since 7:30. But anyway, that thing, okay? So first he bitched about how installing this has gotten rid of all his friends and got rid of a lot of jobs of meter readers. I'm like, yeah, well, that's technology. That's what's happening. I get that. It sucks. But here's where it starts to get interesting, okay? So, I mean, obviously this is some sort of a little gadget that you can read, right? You just would walk by and it's like a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi thing. Boop, scan, give you your information, right? No, that's too basic. What this is, the city, as part of this and other programs apparently, is installing, and you've probably seen them around, these centralized Wi-Fi / network connections. Okay, not conspiracy, but this is for real. Okay. I don't know if it's 5G or whatever it is, but the city's part of this installation. Outside contractors doing this stuff. Okay. They'll be able to read these little monitor things in a 2-mile radius from one of those hubs that they have on the telephone poles. So everyone can read them. Okay. Yeah, well, that's fine. What we don't know is that how much they monitor. So they'll send out information every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, they'll monitor your water usage. So they'll know if you're on vacation because you won't be using any water. How's that one for you? They'll know if you're trying to scam water because they'll look and use a computer and AI to check your usage and see if it's irregular. So if you have constant water, maybe they'll know there's a leak. Will they alert you to it? That's in debate. But if you use too much water, they'll then check to see if you have a pool or are you using it for some nefarious purpose, whatever that nefarious purpose might be. I just found it very interesting that they're going to have that much information. Every 2 minutes, they'll monitor every single person they scan all at once, every 2 minutes. I was like, whoa. Gets a little crazier. Part of the overall plan is to remove these from your house and the meter and move it to the street at the box. So now you can't even get the water without it going from the street to your house. That's where they'll actually meter it. So if you have a leak somewhere, it doesn't matter. You pay for it. Whereas before you had like 14 days grace kind of thing where, you have a leak in your yard or something, you notice a wet spot, you call the city and they say, hey, and they give you 14 days to get it fixed, whatever. Now you'll have been paying for that leak for the 14 days, even if it's their fault. It doesn't matter. I just found that to be very interesting. Very interesting. This data that they're going to collect about your water usage. Speaking of technology, this is sort of same vein, but it's funny, but not funny. Now, I'm not going to disclose the individual's name to protect them. It's public knowledge, okay? This is public knowledge. So if you happen to research it, you could find it anyway. So a festival that was in Columbus, that isn't festivaling anymore, had a breakup apparently with their partner or whatever. And there's some lawsuits going on for which they are suing and being sued and everything else. Apparently, their lawyers put some testimony forward using ChatGPT. And as we've talked about it before, ChatGPT and law citations, well, it had some hallucinations. And apparently, it hallucinated citations that didn't exist. So the opposing counsel found said citations and were like, what the hell? Obviously, was a problem. These people then responded without noting what the problem was. And then, of course, again, they were like, excuse me, what, you just glossed over the fact that what you sent was wrong. And you just basically let ChatGPT do this without even reading it? Yeah, so the judge is now reviewing this whole mess. So besides lawsuits pending and being followed through, they also now have to deal with the fact that all these citations and all the stuff that they did and sent is garbage. It doesn't exist. All these citations from things that they sent aren't real. ChatGPT hallucinated, again, because it wants to please us, so it found stuff that sounded good, that made it seem like that's a great idea, or in fact, absolutely not true. So you have to think about life in perspective sometimes. So that's what I do. I look at the perspective of life and say, you know what? It could be that much worse. Jeez. Anyway, that is the segment on technology and eventually how it will kill you. Oh man, I'm sorry. I just found it to be very funny. Funnier than it probably should have been, but you know, it is. All right, that was my big brother moment on both of those things. All right, today is in fact Climb a Mountain Day, so it is metaphorically climb a mountain and also climb a mountain. So I metaphorically climbed a mountain. I went back into the attic twice today. After cutting the grass in the blazing hot sun, I literally sweated my clothes soaking wet 3 times today. I had to go back to the attic. I'm like, I'm going to get this electric done today. And I went and did it, and I stayed there until 9 o'clock tonight finishing it. And yes, it was a mess. And I climbed the mountain. I think I got the dirt off me. I have cuts and nicks everywhere on my hand from being in these junction boxes and these rafters with these wires. But I got it done. I climbed the mountain. It's also Whistleblowers Day. Now, you thought this would be... Now, a lot of these seem to be recent. The Whistleblowers Day goes back to 1777. How crazy is that? So 2 Navy guys basically ratted out the admiral for abusing English soldier prisoners. I was like, oh, okay. So that one actually went back further than, oh, this was invented last year. Because that's what a lot of them seem like they came within the last couple of years. Father-in-law Day, don't care. And National Cheesecake Day. I failed. I didn't get cheesecake today. I really wanted cheesecake, but I failed it. Tomorrow is National Intern Day. I'll tell an intern story because that's how I started. National Avocado Day. I could have avocado toast. That would help. I had some guacamole. That would help. It's National Chili Dog Day. See, I told you this whole hot dog thing. There's multiple hot dog things. So if I have to go to the bank tomorrow, I'll go to Tasty Dog and I'll get a chili dog. They make a really good chili dog. And it's also Mutt Day, like the dog. So not the chili dog, but Mutt Day. It's also December 2nd. So they get 2 Mutt days. Don't ask me, but that's what it said. Raspberry Cake Day. I don't know. Maybe some raspberry cake tomorrow. That's what I figured might be interesting. Okay, so let's see. No particular order because I screwed it up a little bit. But George Eastman shows the first amateur color motion picture. What exactly is that? I couldn't find out what they meant by amateur color picture. Thomas Edison and other guests were in attendance. Eastman Kodak, that's the guy. So George Easton of Eastman Kodak. Interesting. This one I found to be very interesting. 1945, the USS Indianapolis is torpedoed and sank. Now, that's what inspired the film Jaws. And if you remember, if you saw Jaws, Quint gives an epic speech about him being on the USS Indianapolis. He talks about how, and I read all the stuff today, how the U.S. Indianapolis was taking the parts secret mission. It was a cruiser, a secret mission to drop off the Hiroshima bomb parts, as Quint also said, and it was torpedoed. It sank in 12 minutes. It started with 1,195 sailors. 300 went down with the ship. 900 went into the water. Because it was a secret mission, they did not get picked up for 4 days. Most of them were in the water. Only 316 came out. The largest naval accident of this type in history. And if you remember, Quint said this about the shark, that he's got lifeless eyes. He's got black eyes. He's got like a doll's eyes. So watch that. But yes, so that's a historical fact that the movie was actually made and inspired by the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. And Quint's epic monologue is about that. So I found that very interesting. In 1956, the law by Dwight D. Eisenhower that our national motto would be, "In God We Trust." And that's when it started appearing, I guess, in other places, but that's our national motto for now, because who knows? Maybe we'll get an executive order that'll make our national motto something completely different. No ideas, please. The Beatles yesterday and today in 1966 became number one and stayed number one for 5 weeks. I was trying to find that one. It's a good one. But I didn't remember what songs. I mean, obviously the song Yesterday, but I didn't know what other songs were on it. Sorry. My bad music things. 1971, the Apollo 15 lands on the moon. Now, this was interesting. 1975, Hoffa goes missing from Detroit, Michigan. Teamster Jimmy Hoffa vanished, with speculation that he's buried everywhere. In my backyard, under Giant Stadium, swim with the fishes. Still don't know. He wasn't declared dead until 1982. But yes, 1975 on this day is when Jimmy Hoffa went missing. In 1977, Andy Gibb, I Just Want to Be Your Everything, goes to number one in the Billboard 100. I just want to be your everything. Andy Gibb, that falsetto voice of his. There's a couple interesting, there's an interesting Bee Gees song that I got listening, it was played when it was on the Righteous Gemstones. And it's so psychedelic. It's before the Bee Gees were disco-y. So you have to look it up. I forget what the song is, but it's way, way, way different. Not what you expect at all from the Bee Gees. 1991, Enter Sandman becomes Metallica's song release. Oh yes, good old Enter Sandman. Metallica, still playing that one. But that one came out in 1991, which I found to be interesting. In 2002, Bruce Springsteen's 12th album released, The Rising, and the first one with the E Street Band since 1985, and became top in the charts in 7 countries. Good old Bruce. Sad note, in 2003, the last VW Beetle rolled off the line in Mexico. The original design, the little VW Bug. We did an interesting promotion at the radio station in 1999, right before the 2000 occurred. Everyone's talking Y2K. We did the Millennium Bug. I went and gave away like a dozen of these old Beetles. So I had to go searching all over the state. So I drove all over hell and back and bought these VW Bugs. Some were in okay shape. Some were in really crappy shape. Got them repainted, got them repaired. They had to be in working order, but the bodies could be okay, crappy. And gave these things away. Made them like the Herbie the Love Bug, a Browns Bug, made one look like a helmet for the Browns. A Blue Jackets Bug. What else did I do? I forget now. I mean, it's been 25 years. Jesus. But there was some shenanigans that went on with those cars. Drove them around, over hell and back. Because they were hilarious to drive in. I remember my parents had one when I was a kid. They had a little red one. But yeah, the VW Bug. The last off the line in 2003. Also in 2003, Toronto Rock Music Festival attracts 450,000 people to see the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Rush, The Guess Who, The Flaming Lips, and Justin Timberlake. What a weird combo. Justin Timberlake with the Rolling Stones and AC/DC. Don't know. But it's the largest festival in Canada. 450,000 people. That's a good number. Not as big as the 600,000 the other day, but that's still a big-ass number. In 2004, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle was released. Now, where do you think that release was done? Any guesses? It was done in Columbus, Ohio. The premiere was done here. Why? Because it's White Castle. Guess what? There I am with John Cho. Good old Harold, Roldy, and Danny Liner, the director. The funny thing was, so I got to MC the screenings that happened for this. They came to the radio station, hung out, we got to talk to him, interview him, and I got to be the MC. So I got to do it before the two showings. None of the White Castle executives, none of them had seen this and were not aware of what it was about at all. They were just like, this is great, we're all excited for their families and stuff. You can imagine the looks on their faces when they started to bust out the weed and became a stoner flick. They were all just mortified. A couple of them murmured and left. Oh, I'm wondering how many heads rolled for that one. But that was on this day in 2004. I truly remember that one because that was hilarious. But yeah, I got to hang out with John Cho, and he was a super nice guy, actually. Hung out at dinner with him, really cool. You know, it was pretty funny. It was a very entertaining movie, to say the least. If you haven't seen it, watch it. You can laugh. But yes, the White Castle executives were not entertained at all with any of the shenanigans that went on in that movie. Oh, and I had to make a little side note. In 1976, Bruce Jenner won the decathlon. 1976, Bruce Jenner wins the decathlon. Birthdays today. Sid Croft. Sid and Marty Croft. Marty being his brother. Sid Croft was the inventors of Land of the Lost and HR Puffin Stuff, among other crazy things that the brothers had on television. I remember HR Puffin Stuff. That was a freaky ass show. How that got on TV, I have no idea. Basically, some executives were hanging out with Harold and Kumar, apparently, because that was a stoner show for sure. 1936, Buddy Guy. David Lowery of Cracker posted something today about listening to the song. I forget the name of the song that was 8 minutes long, but they're saying this is what Led Zeppelin and everybody else tried to accomplish, this song. I listened to it. It's pretty damn good. It is Buddy Guy at his finest. Buddy Guy's still alive. He was born again in 1936. So you do the math. 89 years old, I believe. But he's in the movie that I just watched the other night and I talked about. He's in the end of the movie. Sinners, I believe, is the movie. I was like, look at that. It's Buddy Guy. Outstanding. Paul Anka, born today, 1941. Good old Paul Anka. You know, that's a fun name. Now, also on this day is Jimmy Cliff, 1944. Reggae star Jimmy Cliff. David Sanborn, 1945, born on this day. 1958, Kate Bush, who had a great resurrection from Stranger Things. Her Wuthering Heights Running Up the Hill fame of Kate Bush, got that whole thing with Meg Myers singing that. That got a huge push, and just everyone got to know who she was again without her having to do squat diddly. Phineas O'Connell, 1977. Billie Eilish's brother, Phineas. Also born on this day is Terry Crews, Hilary Swank, Frank Stallone, brother of Sylvester, Lisa Kudrow, Lawrence Fishburne, and this man right there, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Got to meet him a few times. Really nice guy. Very interesting. Very, very nice guy. Got to hang out with him because we did charity work. I actually sat on his board for many years, the After School All-Stars. I have his governor's ring somewhere upstairs. I actually have his ring. It's the governor's ring. It's this big old honking. It looks like a sports trophy ring or something. Because when you're the governor, you get like a bunch of rings. I have one of his actual rings, the governor ring. I was trying to find it and bust it out, but I couldn't find it fast enough. I would have brought it down. I've worn it, so it's not pristine anymore because I'm like, what? I'm not that guy that's going to put it in a case or and be like, look at my ring. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to wear this thing. Put it on my finger. It's like, this big old chunk of metal. People are like, what is it? I'm like, oh, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger. I got his ring. I mean, duh. Why else would we have something like that? Put it in a showcase? Crap, no. That's not what I'm doing anyway. That's why I'm that guy. But yes, there he is. That was an older one because my hair is short. I have other pictures. Oh, it's right there. 2019. Is that 2019? Yeah, it must be 2019, I think. Because my hair's short. Otherwise, I have other pictures of my hair is way, way long. Like, down to here long. Hippie long. But you'll have that. And then today, the people that died, only a couple. One was Nichelle Nichols Uhuru from the original Star Trek. And we talked about him recently, Mr. Pee Wee Herman, Paul Reubens. Today was his death. He died at 70 years old of cancer just a couple of years ago. Said, if you've got HBO, look for the special. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting, the whole perspective of Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee has a star in the Walk of Fame. Paul Reubens does not. Pee Wee's not a real person. Take that to the grave, Paul Reubens. Did I mention that this is happening? Hold on, I got to bring it back to the other screen. There it is. Last new episode tomorrow night. And again, this is the Chicago episode. I'm excited to see this one. This is the one that all the other ones I had no idea, how much I'd get or how little I'd get. This one I know I have to be in a lot of it because I was with him. Like, we went to the corporate headquarters together, like side by side. We went to the chef's tasting and everything. I didn't say much. My job was to not speak. So I stood there and was like, just snacking on the little tidbits of food that was there made available. So we'll see how they make this look. Hopefully it'll be good. And I'll have my shining moment as a co-star. This will be all worth it. It all leads up to the final episode of co-starness. That's the hopes. I don't know. I'll probably wind up on the cutting room floor again. That's the way it's been lately. Damn it! I'm looking at the camera and I don't see the damn numbers on it. How annoying is that? I really need to fix that, don't I? I either keep forgetting or I'm just too damn lazy to do it. Because it just requires me to go take it apart. It's all wired. It's all zip tied. There's cabling to it. I'm just lazy. That's all there is. Sorry. Supposedly this heat is going to break. I just need to not be so freaking hot during the day. I don't have a pool. I don't know anybody that has a pool. If there was one nearby, I would so go pool hopping. But there's no pools nearby that I can just go, kind of slink into in the dead of night. And, running around the hose is not as entertaining as sliding into someone's pool illicitly. Because, I live near campus. So there's not like, if someone had a pool, I would be one of 100 hopping the fence on a nightly basis to go take a dip in the pool. That's how that would work. Suburbanites, you got it easy. You got pools everywhere. I don't. That was always a fun pastime in the summers when we were kids, is pool hopping. I think I've talked about this. We had a circuit. You'd go down the street, you slip into someone's pool, you swim for a little bit, and then, of course, someone has to be the jackass and yell or make a big splash. Then we all have to run. And then you go to the next one. And you go on. And you're barefoot and you're in swim trunks. And we're just running through the neighborhoods. Nowadays, people do that. They'll get arrested for trespassing or shot or something. Back then, it was harmless shenanigans. Shenanigans were harmless fun. perpetrated by teenagers with too much time on their hands. White punks on dope living in suburban America. Nowadays it would be called terrorism. I don't know. You hopped the fence. You went in our pool. You violated the sanctity of our home. Yeah, I'm sure that would exactly what happens. You don't hear about pool hopping incidents anymore. That's just how it works. Not as free as you think we are when it comes to that. Just saying. So I have more technology. I don't know if I'll talk about it tomorrow, but I was talking with somebody earlier today about Flock. If you don't know what Flock is, Google it. I'll show you pictures and I'll dive into Flock this week. Maybe this week. Maybe this weekend. Flock. Flock. Very interesting. Another one of those technologies that you may not know, but you are absolutely being watched. And you have no way to stop it, no matter where you go. It's only to get more insidious. But that's part of it. It's not just the phones we carry in our pocket, which are listening to you. Not just your smart TV or your doorbell or everything else that is now so integrated into our lives. Just saying. Right. So I went to go, someone said, let's go to the Struts on Wednesday. I'm like, yes, the Struts. Not tonight, next Wednesday. Sold out already. So now I have to go see if I can find tickets. Not that I'm going to buy them. I mean, seriously? One, it's sold out, and two, seriously? No, I'm not buying tickets to a show. That's not how that works. I've seen them many times. If someone wants to take me, sure, let's go. I'm all happy to go. But yeah, that's changed drastically, where I didn't ever have to worry about shows. That was one of those things where it's like, oh, we're going to go to the show? Sure, let's go. Because I had tickets. I always had tickets. And now I don't. Did I tell you that the birthday is coming up for the radio station? It would have been 35 years. August 21st, 1990 is when it started. That will be my day in history that day. If I'm able to, I will prepare a montage of crap. If not, well, I won't. That's all there is to it. But I'm going to have our yard sale sooner than later. I think I'm going to set a date. It may be next weekend. Who knows? It'll be the first of a few. So you guys know about it first. If you watch this, it'll probably be Saturday. Probably start it relatively early. It's probably going to be just, come as you are. Cash, credit card, whatever. Bring a truck. Depends on how much you want to get. There's a lot of crap. From gold records to seats to desks and chairs and equipment. And yeah, stuff just has to go, or it's going in a dumpster eventually. I can't store it all. Like and subscribe to this. I haven't even checked to see how many subscribers there are. I just have not. I've been working way too much. So strange. Interesting. It's just strange. I talked to my sister today. My sister lives in New Jersey, and she was saying we need to go back to New Jersey. I need to go back to New Jersey. She lives where my mom lives. But we need to get together with my mom and maybe take her on an adventure. Just the two of us. I'm like, okay, sure. Sounds great. My mom's 93. How much of an adventure can she go on? I'm just wondering. I mean, she goes to things all the time, like, her garden club. She volunteers. She goes to her exercise class. She still drives. She still shops. She lives alone. I mean, I can barely do that, and I'm not even close to that old. But I don't know what kind of an adventure she had in mind. I mean, sure, I'm all about it. Let's go on an adventure. But she is 93. So I'll have to think about the scope of this said adventure. I think an adventure would be to go visit my favorite cousin, her favorite relative, besides her children, which I think she actually likes him more than her children sometimes. My cousin in California. But I don't know. Is that too much of a trip to go to California from New Jersey for a 93-year-old? Fly out for, a weekend, a long weekend? I could do that. Leave on a Friday or a Thursday, go out for a couple of days, then fly back. but that's a long flight. I don't know. Keep you posted because that would be an adventure, for sure. Again, going on an epic adventure with a 93-year-old. I don't know how epic or adventure-y that could be. There might be a lot of slow walking involved. I mean, just saying, that's what happens. You're not as mobile or agile when you get to be 93. Hell, I'm not as mobile and agile some days after I've gone up and down the stairs 30 times. Just kind of dragging my feet so I don't trip and fall down as I go up the stairs. Felt like that today on the 10th trip going up the 3rd floor stairs in the dead of summertime with no air conditioning in this building and 100 plus degrees in it. Just say it. Not that I'm complaining. Maybe a little. I didn't make it to the fair yet. I'm absolutely going to try and go to the fair. And I can't go on the weekend because it'll be too crazy. Not that I don't want the crazy, but it's just too crazy. So I haven't even checked the dates of when the fair is. I have to find out when the fair is and go, at least for a couple hours. Because he used to go to the fair all the time because, again, there was promotions. Oh, wait, speaking of the fair, I did talk about this the other day. The fair, and wait, there it is. Look at this. Who's that? It's Ziggy Marley. That was the fair. There you go. Look at that. Good old Ziggy. Ta-da. Like I said, see, I'm all smiley and he's just like, whatever, man. Doesn't really have a whole lot of... I'm like deer in headlights. And yeah, I'm looking way young in that picture. Jeez, I'm looking young. That is probably 30 years ago. That's what I'm guessing. I'd have to look and see when Ziggy played the fair, but yes, I'm guessing that's a 30-year-old picture. As I said, I'm all smiley and he's just like, whatever. Almost like, did we know there was a picture about to be taken or someone just say, smile? Just saying. The fair. I don't even know who's playing this year. Anybody good? Don't know. I have to look at that. Oh, I got asked if I wanted to do the Harding County Fair again in September. I have to look at the dates. That's where I first got the idea to do the Demolition Derby. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the people that did the fair that I met last year. See if I could be a guest driver and drive in one of the Demolition Derby cars. That way I wouldn't have to drag my own car up there. That's what I think I'm going to try and do. Because I don't need to have the car, do I? Can I just drive the car? Put the GoPro in the front and crash it up a little bit, Put the GoPro facing me, one facing back so I can see the epic crashiness. That's what I'm thinking. Bro, how much to let me drive your car in one of the heats? That seems like a much more reasonable idea. I don't need to have a car unless I'm going to get a car donated or somewhere because I don't even own a car. But that seems much more reasonable to me and much more plausible and doable. Bring a sawbuck or two and be like, hey, bro, how about letting me drive one of these heats? I'll have to see what the rules are. But there's got to be some way I can get in touch with somebody that does the Demolition Derby that would allow said individual, moi, to drive and do the Demolition Derby. That's what I'm going to look for. Anyway, that's that. I don't have any other rabbit holes to fall down today. Did not see the bunnies today. I looked for them. I did finish cutting the grass. Did I cut the grass today? Yeah, I cut the grass today. That's right. It said I was sweating. I cut the grass earlier in the day. I did avoid the whole area where I knew the bunnies might be. So there's a little long grassy spot. But I did not see bunnies this afternoon, this evening, or any other time. So I'm sure that they're hiding their little burrows and they sneak out when they can because they were tiny. I mean, they're little bunnies. But I will get pictures. At some point, they'll have to be out. I'll get a picture of said bunny or bunnies. So that you can share the cuteness. Because who doesn't think tiny bunnies are cute? Except for, the marauding cats and or hawks that will eat tiny bunnies and whatever the hell killed the one before. Like I said, Wolverine, it sure looked like it. It was, man. It was, wow. Didn't even take pictures. It was that bad. So that's the bunny cam. We'll have to work on that. Oh, the bunny cam. I could set up the GoPro like right outside the nest and see if we could catch the bunnies in a bunny cam. Maybe. Have to see. That could work. Anyway, I'm going to depart because I'm tired since I was literally out the door before 7:30 this morning. And it's close to midnight. You know, that's a long day, even for me. I am not going to get up at 7:30 tomorrow morning intentionally. But knowing that I did, I'm going to. Let's see. Foreigner, Warren Zillows, Morris Day and the Time, Charlie Williams, Lynn Morgan, T-Pain, Quincy, and the Chili Color. AJR? Really? AJR? That's weird. Okay. So Foreigner, Morris Day and the Time, and AJR. Interesting. All right. Okay. Well, we would be promoting AJR if the station was around for sure, so I would have tickets. Foreigner and Morris Day, we'd probably promote those too. So I'd just say I probably missed one of those shows. They probably already occurred because the fair's been gone for a few days. Because Lowe's is always trafficy if I go in the evening when I'm leaving. There's tons of traffic because of the fair. And, you know, the fair driving is just like every other driving. Not great. Not great. Thanks for Columbus drivers. Anyway, I will bid you all a good evening, a farewell, and a Wiedersehen, and a buenas noches. Thank you. Appreciate you. I will look for you tomorrow, and I'm going to try and, at some point do something creative and not just recap crap that went on throughout the world the last 1,000 years or more, because I have done things all the way back to, before the Magna Carta was even written. Oh, my Lord. Fade to black. Thank you. I just crack myself up. End stream. Where is it? Mount? Okay, there we are. End stream. End stream. End stream. Yes, end.